question and think about it. And the question is, what does independence, what does it mean to you? What does independence mean to you? Now, many of you know that I do coaching, small group coaching, individual coaching. And I can remember when I initially got started doing the coaching, I would ask in that first session, I would ask the clients, what do you hope to get during this whole coaching process? If you had one word to kind of sum it all up, what is it that you're hoping to get out of all of this? And overwhelmingly, to my surprise at that time, the number one word, and I didn't give them a choice of words. These were words they came up with themselves, wrote down and put them up so I can see them. The word was freedom. And it confused me for a moment because it's, freedom, when you think about it, debatably, we're all free. The fact that you can get on this broadcast and watch me right now is proof that there is some level of freedom. But I soon came to realize in that whole coaching process and with my clients over the years that whole ideal and concept of freedom, that desire and that pull we have for freedom is so much bigger than we realize. It's so much bigger than we realize. So over time, I've come to realize that when people talk about wanting to acquire freedom in their lives, and guys, share this broadcast with your friends or people you're on Facebook with, because I believe it's going to really help some people today just really understand what's keeping them stuck and what's keeping them unfulfilled. Over time, what I've come to realize with my clients and with my patients is this feeling of a lack of freedom or unfulfillment boils down to a lack of just basically transparency and authenticity in their life. So a lot of you know, a lot of you who sent me messages, a lot of you have commented on things I posted in the last few months. I've been quite transparent. I've been quite open with the personal struggles I've had over the year, I should say, and just how, I guess, humbling it's been for me and some of the things that I've been experiencing. And I've been sharing that basically, in a selfish way for me because it's helping my whole healing process and it's helping me. But what I didn't realize and what I've come to realize with the number of responses that I get, the number of emails, the number of messages that I'm getting from a lot of you is that it's helping you to understand and to see that true freedom comes from releasing the things that we're holding inside. Like I've had people say, you just look different. There's a different energy about you. And I truly believe it's because what transparency has allowed me to do is release just a psychological and emotional burden that I've been carrying around with me. And it can do the same for you. So it's interesting. Last week, I shared a lyric from the new Jay-Z album that came out. I'm a Jay-Z fan. I've been that fan for years. I tell people I credit lots of his music for getting me through late nights in my doctoral program, keeping me up, I should say. But there's a line in one of his new songs that says, "You can't heal what you never reveal." And that really resonated with me. I mean, it sticks out because it's so very true. You cannot heal what you don't reveal in your life. And unfortunately, historically, a lot of us, we come from families, we come from societies, come from cultures, we come from churches that really encourage us to keep a level of secrecy, not to air your dirty laundry. And this line of thinking has unfortunately perpetuated this cycle of dysfunction, unfulfillment, sadness that we have in life. So part of my whole brand and what I do is, get it out. You cannot heal what you don't reveal, what you never reveal. It's so very important for us to understand the beauty that comes from being authentic and transparent, the freedom that comes from being authentic and transparent, the independence, the feeling of independence that comes from being authentic and transparent. I think about a lot of my clients, like I'll share just a few examples. I've had clients over the years that I've worked with, and even with all the work, the techniques, and hours upon hours of therapy, for some clients it just seems to be nothing's budging, nothing's changing, and what usually is revealed is they're not even being authentic and transparent in therapy. I mean, imagine that. This is a safe place where you can come and you can really share everything. There's no judgment, but they've been so programmed and conditioned to keep things in and not to share those fractured parts of themselves for fear of falling apart or breaking down or being judged, that it doesn't allow them to gain just the beauty and the freedom that they can gain if they allow themselves to really just be real and be open. So even I think about, there was a couple that I saw for years, and it was like nothing, off and on for years, nothing was happening, nothing could, there was the same issues just kept repeating themselves. And it was not until after I stopped seeing this couple several months later that the husband actually reached out to me, and he shared with me that he was ready to start living his life authentically, that he and asked that I refer him to a transgender therapist. I mean, this guy had been for years carrying around the burden of, he didn't feel like he was in the right body. And imagine, so the trauma and the dysfunction his family was feeling, the frustration of his wife, the anger and the sadness he was feeling was all based on living a life that wasn't authentic. And you just imagine what lack of authenticity and transparency not only does for you, but does to everyone around you. It prevents everyone from living a fulfilling and just really rewarding life. There was a client I also remember, she was a little bitty thing, but every time she came into the office, you knew when she walked into the office, the waiting room, because there was a literally, like, she stumped when she walked. And she was, if she wore 110 pounds, I'd be surprised. And I would always wonder, I have clients that come in twice her size, and I don't know when they're walking in, but there was just such a just constant stumping with her. That was the literal weight she was carrying. It wasn't until I noticed that once she started to really be honest and authentic and revealing a lot of her pains and fractures and dysfunctions, that even her walking became softer, like as she came into the office. So we are even a lot of the weight issues we carry, the obesity issue in this country, the literal weight we are carrying is just a psychological manifestation, or I should say a physical manifestation of the psychological weight we are carrying. And oftentimes people who have struggled for years to try to lose weight unsuccessfully, or they'll lose it and they'll get it back on, when they really start being transparent, opening up, being honest, revealing, the truth about themselves, it's amazing how without even trying, and I've shared this with my coaching groups, the weight falls off. Because again, nothing happens on a physical level without first happening on a spiritual level. So they're carrying the literal weight of the world within them, and it just manifests itself physically, even with illness, with addictions, with so many things, anxiety, anger, all of those things are just really symptoms of inability to be true to who you are. So, and I'm looking around because this morning I got up, like I said, I wasn't going to do Transformation Tuesday, but I got up this morning and all these thoughts started coming to me, and I took notes because I wanted to get this out to you. So, I want you guys to really think about releasing the pain, because again, the psychological and mental burden of being closed and protected is not doing you any service, and it's continuing this dysfunction, this lack of ability, even in our culture. We can talk about even in personally, it's preventing you, from your family, it's preventing you, your communities is preventing you. It starts at even, this microscopic level, but it's not allowing us to just really be free and to embrace the fullness of life. And because anything that happens on an individual level, it manifests itself outside too. So it affects our families, it affects our communities, it affects our culture, it affects our society, it affects our world as a whole. So when you look even at the world and all the dysfunction that goes on, it's really just a real, like I said, manifestation or example, I should say, of what's going on within us individually as well. So we've all been fractured, guys. We've all been fractured. There's not one of us who have not been fractured. Like I said, I've been sharing just parts of my fracture within the last year or what have you, because for me, like I said, selfishly, I've shared it because it's part of my healing and it's helping me get the weight of that off of me. But what I've come to realize, and I was surprised because the messages that I'm getting, so many people like, wow, I can't believe you're sharing that. And I'm thinking, wow, I can't believe you're not sharing what's keeping you back or holding you back or preventing you from blooming. So I want you to, this holiday, I really challenge you guys to really start to embrace this whole spirit of transparency and authenticity in your life. Transparency is, if you want to know what transparency is just an opening up. It's like, oh, like you can see through me. You know, all those things I'm hiding within. You can see it. I'm opening up. I'm freeing myself. That's the freedom. I'm freeing myself from the things that are weighing me down, because it's allowing me to be lighter, to be freer, to be able to do the things that I was intended to do, to achieve the purpose that I have in this life. That's the transparency. Your authenticity is your truth. It's owning your truth. Even the ugly parts of your history, it's owning that, but also recognizing it doesn't define you. It doesn't have to be your story, but recognize the truth. Again, we cannot heal what we don't reveal. This is the only way, guys, we can thrive. This is the only way we can grow. This is the only way we can achieve success. This is the only way we can bloom. So my challenge to you guys, my charge to you on this Transformation Tuesday and every day from here on out is to embrace a little TNA. No, not the kind you guys are thinking of, Freudian slip there. But I want you guys to embrace a little just transparency and authenticity in your life. Embrace it and understand all the fear that you've had all these years of holding it in. I have so many clients, when they honestly start living their truth and being transparent, there's a physical change in their appearance. They come into my office and they look just lighter. There's like a light emanating from them. They look freer. I've gotten people that say, oh my God, Rose, you actually look younger than you did 5 years ago. It's because I've really committed myself to living a life of authenticity and transparency, and I can tell you it feels so good. Even a lot of the physical ailments that I was suffering with during these recent challenging times, I have none of that going on now. You know, none of that, because I've freed myself. I've released the weight. I've released the burden of keeping your truth inside and not being transparent and not releasing the things that no longer serve you. So you guys have a great and safe Independence Day. I hope this Transformation Tuesday, just shed some light in your life, or share it with people that you think could benefit from this message. You're more than welcome to reach out for me for individual coaching or the group coaching that I do. If you want to get a copy of my book, Bloom, 7 Steps of Personal Transformation, you can go to my website and order it for signed copy, or you can go to Amazon and order it as well. It's available at Kindle, and you can get a hard copy from my website and Amazon as well. But I love you guys, and I thank you for just keeping me encouraged to come here and just share these messages with you. Have a great holiday.